Cozy games are supposed to be relaxing, cute characters, peaceful towns, maybe some farming and decorating. So why are so many of them suddenly becomes massive online worlds filled with strangers? Because the moment you turn a cozy game into an open online space, it stops being just a game. It becomes the internet. And the internet brings all the same problems with it. Games like Roblox, VRChat, and other open social worlds have already shown what can happen when online spaces aren't carefully designed. Racism, harassment, child predators, these probably aren't the first things you think about when you look at a cute cozy game. But the moment developers turn a cozy world into a massive online multiplayer space, those risks suddenly become very real. And that's why the design of games like Heartopia raises a bigger question. Should every game really be an open world and online? One of the most famous examples is Roblox. It's a platform with millions of young players, social worlds, and user-generated content. But over the years, it's also faced constant criticism over moderation challenges, inappropriate experiences, and safety concerns for younger users. Another example is VRChat. It's essentially just a giant social world where players interact using avatars and voice chat. And while it can be incredibly creative and fun, it also shows how chaotic open online spaces can become. Without strong systems in place, open social worlds can quickly turn into the Wild West. Even massive companies with huge moderation teams still struggle to control behavior in large online communities. If billion-dollar companies struggle with moderation, smaller studios may have an even harder time. And then if you add in the fact that a lot of these free cozy games have a large amount of young players, it gets pretty alarming. Games like Heartopia, Roblox have very bright visuals, cute characters, relaxing gameplay, and on top of that, they're free to play, at least for the most part. So naturally, it's going to attract young kids. You can argue that it's on the parents to monitor their kids, which I don't disagree, but it has to go both ways too. We also need to acknowledge how these games can be dangerous and how they need more moderation as well as safety systems. Now let's look at Heartopia, the most recent open world cozy game that has been receiving so much backlash. It's cute, colorful, and looks like the kind of relaxing life sim people love. I myself was super hooked when I saw it, but the more I played, the more I realized why certain games shouldn't be open online space. For all of you who don't know, Heartopia is basically a cozy game but online. Picture Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley. There's farming, fishing, you do quests to help the NPCs, to get points, to get tokens, you got hobbies to improve, you can build cute houses, and then add the online aspect. So essentially you can see other players, interact with them, and that's when things start to get weird. What happens when games become social platforms? When developers add open social world and public multiplayer spaces, they're no longer just designing mechanics. They're creating an environment where thousands of real people interact. And once that happens, all the problems of the internet show up too. This isn't unique to Heartopia. It happens in almost every open online game, as I mentioned at the beginning. But I'm gonna give you a couple of examples why Heartopia got so much backlash over the last couple weeks. The most recent backlash that caused a lot of players and influencers leaving the game for good is racism. I wish I could find the video of the quest, but every post about this is all deleted on Reddit and Discord, so I will try to summarize it for you. The quest basically involves a person of color NPC, and players are supposed to give that person of color a bizarre mushroom. After eating the mushroom, the person of color NPC started to sound and dance and act like a monkey. Players clocked that in right away and started to discuss about it on Heartopia Discord channel, and guess what? All discussions about this are shut down. Channel goes on 10-minute cooldown mode, so players bring this issue onto Reddit. These posts also got deleted a day later. Regardless, many players have decided that they're leaving for good. This isn't the first backlash they got though. The first backlash was their unfair gadget system. Many people say that Heartopia gadget system is the most unfair one they've ever experienced. They reported, but nothing's changed. Surprise, surprise. The second backlash is a game using AI in their content, specifically puzzle games. The developers have stated that AI is not used for core access, such as character designs, maps, or animations. So make of that what you will. They also have been numerous incidents where players experience racism, underage players on a server, and they try to report it on the Discord channel, but not only moderators didn't do anything, but they also banned these reporters, trying to silence them and shut down any negative reports or conversations. Moderating online spaces can be incredibly difficult. Large companies struggle with it. Platforms with thousands of employees still can't control everything that happens in their communities. We all know how toxic Discord mods can be. It has become a literal meme about Discord and Reddit mods. But even then, these are still small communities compared to massive open world games. Now imagine trying to moderate a fully open multiplayer world with a small development team. Many cozy game studios are relatively small, but building an open online world means dealing with problems usually handled by massive companies, complex systems that exist in social platforms and may not be available in small cozy games are like reporting tools, chat filters, dedicated moderators, and age protections or verifications, so on and so on. The problem with open worlds are that they're incredibly difficult to design well. Bigger worlds don't always mean better experiences. I've personally experienced Heartopia, and while the game is great in some aspects, there are several things that I didn't like. The world feels very empty. The maps are large but shallow. Navigation system is super clunky. Environments feel very copy-paste. Quests and tasks feel repetitive. The most appealing aspect of the game is online interaction, but I can't help but feel like they lack meaning. Most of the time when I see other players on the map, we just share quest-related interactions and that's it. And it's not just between players. Interactions with NPCs and between NPCs also lack meaning and depth. Making friends on the server needs to be done with caution as well because, online space. Some players are mean, bullying, or just plain weird. I feel like cozy games usually work best when they feel personal and intimate. Aspects like small towns, familiar characters, creative spaces make a cozy game feel personal. Large open worlds sometimes just break that feeling. So if open worlds are so difficult, then why does every game keep becoming one? Is it because of marketing trends, perhaps? Or maybe it's because of player expectations? Perhaps it's live service potential? Or maybe investor pressure. Although, in my personal opinion, I think the main motivation for developers to keep making online open world games is because of the monetization opportunities. Open worlds promise endless engagement, and in modern gaming, engagement often means profit. I've never been much of a gamer before, so when I saw free games, I was quite surprised. I literally asked my partner, why are these games free? Do they not need to make money off of it? He explained to me that these free games has many microtransactions, and oftentimes they end up making a lot more money than non-free games, which is very interesting. And only after I experienced with Heartopia, I could finally understand the appeal of open world games. On players' aspect, I think in an ideal world, playing games in open world seem like fun and interactive. You get to meet new people and potentially make friends. But the world in reality is complicated, therefore open world games usually sound good in theory but turn disaster in practice. So maybe some games are just better smaller. Maybe it's time for us to appreciate smaller cozy games, the ones that work well with controlled spaces. Games like Stardew Valley, Animal Crossing, The Sims, they're all iconic and endless time pieces of art. It can have multiplayer aspect, but invite only. These games work because their worlds feel curated and safe. Not every game needs to have thousands of players running around the same map. So what are my final thoughts on this? I think Heartopia might turn out to be a great game, but its design highlights a bigger trend in the industry, the assumption that bigger worlds and more players automatically make games better. The developers only care about monetization aspect and completely ignore the gravity of having a good dedicated moderation teams when it comes to making their games open world. When I tried Heartopia for the first time, I already told myself that I'd enjoy it while it lasts, as I've seen so many free games be so amazing in the beginning and then just receive so much backlash as time goes on. And Heartopia isn't the exception. If you still enjoy these games or want to try these games, my recommendation is don't sink too much money into it. So you won't feel too emotionally attached if the game turns out to not be that great later on, especially when it comes to moderation issues. So, what were your experiences like with Heartopia? Did the drama come as a shock to you, or did you already expect some sort of backlash to happen? Let me know in the comments below, and make sure to give a like and a subscribe if you like my video. There will be more talk revolving internet and gaming culture coming your way, but until then, see ya!